Whoa. Maybe it works. I'm getting it figured out. If I sit like that, you can see me. Let me get a chair. Now let me get a Bible. It's all the little things that count. Okay. All right, well, I'm going to skedaddle hurry here so I can get down to men's breakfast. But, Matthew chapter 9. So he got into a boat, crossed over, and came to his own city. So he's coming back from the far side of the lake. Right now he's been opposite of Capernaum. His own city, I'm assuming, is Capernaum, because that's where he kind of set up shop there at Peter's house. Then behold, they brought to him a paralytic lying in a bed. When Jesus saw their faith, he said to the paralytic, "Son, be of good cheer. Your sins are forgiven you." And at once some of the scribes said within themselves, "This man blasphemes." But Jesus, knowing their thoughts, said, "Why do you think evil in your hearts?" Notice it said they said within themselves. "For which is easier, to say to your sins are forgiven you, or say arise and walk? But that you may know that the Son of Man has power on earth to forgive sins." Then he said to the paralytic, "Arise, take up your bed, and go to your house." And he arose and departed to his house. Now when the multitude saw it, they marveled and glorified God, who had given such power to men. Now, although Matthew doesn't mention it, because once again, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, they all have different points that they emphasize. And Mark 2, 1 through 12, Luke 5, 17 through 26, they make mention, this is the guy who gets lowered down through the roof, which is probably what we all remember from Sunday school. But Matthew doesn't mention the lowering from the roof part, because although that helps us set this story aside from other stories, that wasn't the important thing. The important thing is really what Matthew mentions. And the idea is these Pharisees are coming and they're judging Jesus. They're not sure about Jesus. And they're thinking to themselves that he blasphemes because he's forgiving sin. And they know that who can forgive sin except for God alone. You know, this is not the primary, this is not even a secondary, but it's one of the many extra evidences of the deity of Christ, that Jesus is God. And these are the kind of things that always hint to it. When who can forgive sin but God alone? And Jesus is like, yeah, and I think he's just kind of hinting to them, right? Your point? Funny you should mention that. So he tells them, though, well, what's easier to say, your sins are forgiven, or rise up and walk? Now, to forgive sins is something that would be very hard to do, but saying it, right, which they were shocked at, but he's saying, or rise and walk, and they realize your sins are forgiven. Saying it has no physical evidence. We don't get to see it. But rise up and walk, now that's something we can see. But what's more important? Your sins being forgiven, or rising up and walking? Now, we've all got needs, things we want Jesus to do, healing or provision, but at the end of the day, it's the sins being forgiven that's the important thing. And the hard part is, just like with then and even now, we don't always get to see that. I wish we could see it, but we don't. We have to believe it by faith. And that's something that the enemy will try and take advantage of. He will try and convince you otherwise, that your sins weren't forgiven, or that you've done messed up this time. And so everyone is shocked and awed, though, when Jesus has this guy rise up, take his bed, and walk. And he does this with a few people, the whole rise, take up your bed, and walk thing. But it was done so that they may know that the Son of Man has the power to forgive sins. And that's what he has the power to do, to forgive sins, your sins, and my sins. And that's the message we ought to be sharing with people. I'm going to make it to men's breakfast now, but I want to encourage you guys, share that message. Maybe if I say it every morning, you guys will be encouraged enough to go and do. Share the message. Jesus has the power to forgive sins. Jesus has the power to forgive sin. So, share the message, make it be known, and make it a part of your daily life. to let people know the Son of Man has the power to forgive sin. All right. I will see you guys bright and early Monday morning, if not sooner. I'm kind of getting excited for Sunday night. I'll be able to put my money where my mouth is. We'll see. I'm trying to make a video for Sunday night for the temple and show things in the temple. So it'd be kind of cool. All right. God bless you guys. Take care.